What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the Clubkillers Podcast. Today, we got DJ Exile, DJ Eric Forbes, and for the first time in the hot seat.
I'm in the hot seat.
That's right, DJ Deville. What's
I'm not
going
in the driver's
on?
seat. It's you this time.
Yeah, that's right. That's
You're in control.
right.
I'm just taking questions. Let's go.
So, I mean, I gotta, to be totally honest, my favorite remixer. We always make this joke in the office. If I ever lost my computer, it would be really easy. I just download all your files and I'd be good to go. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we all play yours.
Every DJ has a Deville edit, remix, mashup in their laptop.
It's worked, and it's worked.
Yeah.
That's
Well, and sometimes they don't even realize it. So they'll put two and two together. They'll realize like, oh, this is DJ Deville. Oh, wait, it's that Deville too? Yeah, I'm the guy on all the MP3s. Yeah, that's me too. It blows people's minds when I go to clubs that I've never been to before, and they're like, oh, that's you? And they'll be playing one right before I go on. I'm like, don't worry, I got 5,000 more.
How did you come up with Deville as your name?
It's because I drove DeVille's.
Okay.
And literally, like, and so if you translate it to French, it means DJ of the town. So that's actually what it means.
Deville la vie.
Yeah, because I drove a 96 DeVille. And I got that right when I went to college. My dad got it for me because I needed a reliable vehicle, and it was amazing actually. So I'm driving this thing to college with a U-Haul on the back, and it worked out. Like the name stuck, and I just I was looking for a name, and nothing was working. I'm up in Wisconsin. My boss is trying to name me all these stupid names, and I couldn't do it. I'm like. Eventually, like DeVille sounds kind of cool, and it actually sounds cool as a producer. I'm gonna stick with this, and I've literally never changed brands. So
since '96,
DeVille's a classic.
No, my car was in '96. I got it in 2001.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
That's cool.
It's
That's
DJ of the town. So that's actually DJ of the town.
That's cool. I didn't know.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, dude, you've been DJing for 27 years. You have been remixing for over 20. Mm-hmm. You were a talent booker and music director in a nightclub in Shanghai.
Yeah.
Dude, tell me what it was like to live, like, in Shanghai. And, dude, that's crazy.
Well, especially considering
Can you give us the years? Because I know it's changed politically, right?
Yeah. So things have changed a lot. So, I mean, I can give you kind of like a quick time lapse of my entire... I give you the whole bullet points real quick. So, I started in Wisconsin in 99 is when I started DJing officially in a cafeteria at my little Catholic high school. And then I went to a club when I was 18, started DJing full-time through central Wisconsin. I decided to go to college in 2002, went to Orlando, and that's where I learned production and editing. And I went back to Wisconsin for a few years while I was getting my bearings after graduating. Took a bunch of terrible jobs. And just struggled. Worked at Best Buy, the post office third shift. I worked at a cheese factory. I did at the Kraft cheese factory, the one with the green cans. I worked there. I actually worked there.
That's a very Wisconsin thing.
Yes.
That's the cheeseheads for sure.
So I struggled. Still had my DeVille though. Still had a DeVille. I was rocking with that. I was literally DJing to make my car payments at one point, and I realized that I had to get a little bit more outside of the nightclubs. And I got into weddings for a little while. And then, fast forward to remember the Nick Spinelli podcast where it turned into just trauma experiences after trauma experiences. And I was like, I got to get out of weddings. I couldn't do it so 2007, I made the decision to move back to Orlando, and I got settled down, and I worked a speaker rental place while I was DJing, struggling a whole lot more. I was roommates with Adam Ivy, who at the time we decided to be roommates while we were in Wisconsin, transferred back down there. He ended up having a very successful career, and he's developed into coaching with YouTube professionals. I went my DJ route, and I ended up going to Tampa, and I was in Tampa. Then I went to China. So basically that was from the years like 2000. I moved to Tampa in 2009, 10, right when Skrillex, Gary Monster's Nice Sprites came out. I know exactly. That was the exact time I moved.
Okay.
That gives you a timestamp at least.
What a time.
Yeah, that was one of the best times. Like dubstep was popping, and trap was popping. Yeah. Electro was crushing it still, and I was really making a lot of edits in that zone, so it was really helpful. But then I got my first real residency at Push nightclub in downtown St. Pete with Rev Kev. And that changed my whole career. That's actually when I actually stamped it as I went pro. DJ Sprite was going on there a lot. I was starting to network with a lot of DJs at the time. Mm-hmm. I felt like I moved to a bigger market because Orlando was more resident DJ focused, and Tampa St. Pete was bringing a lot of open format touring DJs. So I finally got to meet people, and it was really starting to really improve my career. I got 2 really great residencies, and I was in cruise control for a little while, admittedly. But then I got an email. It was like 2000. Yeah, it was still 2010. I was at a club partying, and I got an email from China. And they're like, hey, we would like you to come to our club. It was barely in English. Like it looked like they translated it or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they're like, we would love for you to come to our club. It's #1 club in Shanghai, cleanest bathrooms in Shanghai. They actually put that.
Wow, that was it. That was the cleanest bathrooms.
Yeah, they were actually bragging about that in the email. I'm like, oh, okay. I thought it was spam. I almost deleted it.
Yeah, low key. It sounds like
spam. This because like this is whatever. Like it just seemed kind of like not serious. And I decided to reach back out and say, hey, can I get more information? And then I got a second email, and it was from a guy named Magnus, who's actually the GM. He spoke perfect English. He wrote the new email. So I think he had his assistant reaching out first. And that's what, it worked out where I ended up getting an invitation to play in Shanghai one time. So I didn't have a passport yet. I thankfully had 6 months to get one. And I had to figure all that out. I had to figure out how to go to Western Union to get my deposit. Never got a Western Union deposit before. That was crazy. And then I had to plan, pack, and it was a 10-day trip for 2 gigs. I did Shanghai on a Thursday, and I got there like on a Monday so I could have enough time to walk around and check the city out. And then I had another gig in Taipei. That was on Saturday.
How far is Taipei from Shanghai?
It's like 2 hours.
Okay, so Cali.
So it was a nice little jumper.
Yeah.
So it was very low stress though. So I took a lot of time. So like a full flyer day. I think I flew it on people have never flown to Asia before. It's like all day event. It's 24 hours.
Yeah, it's long.
Yeah, so I had to fly to, at the time it was Detroit. You sit in Detroit for like 2-3 hours, and then you have a 16-hour flight at the time. And they've shortened it since then. Now you can fly straight over the North Pole. But at the time you had to fly around it for FAA reasons, and it was agonizing. It felt like a whole month being in an airplane. It was crazy. And it's fatiguing. You don't really realize like how bad those chairs are until you have to sit in them for that long. And but it was one of the most eye-opening things I've ever done. It was crazy. At the time there was a World Fair going on too. So the club was so packed on a Thursday, I had to carry my backpack over my head through the club to get to the DJ booth.
Oh, damn.
And it was just another day for them. And there's a shark tank that's 100 feet long. There's a postcard view of the Pudong district. I mean, it was literally the most unbelievable place. It was called Mint Nightclub. And that's where I ended up being a resident for like 7 years. So I started out with the one time, and then they started doing, I call them like cruise ship 10 years, where you can go for like a month at a time. You save all your money. They give you a per diem. You have an apartment to stay in. And it was awesome. And it was one of the coolest points of my life.
How long did you, in all total, how long were you there playing for? You think,
from 2010 to 2017.
Oh, wow. So you got a long time there.
Various, capacities.
And how do you feel like that changed? Do you feel like that changed your music style? Like being somewhere like international for that long, where you see something that's not American-based? Like what was like also like your biggest track there? Like
I was told that I played a little too American up front.
Okay.
Like too early. It was too like chainsaw drops. Like and everything was really aggressive. Like it was just default for us. Like all the like the rehab drops and like the really hard stuff that we took for granted here because that's what we wanted here, especially out in Vegas and in Miami. But out there, they like the smoother stuff, more melodic, because despite the fact that it's a Chinese nightclub, it was mostly Russians and Europeans. Okay. So they wanted to hear like the Swedish House Mafias, the Aviciis, and they didn't want the heavy, like Porter Robbins and stuff. They didn't want any of that. So I had to deviate from that.
They didn't want that.
They did not want that. Yeah, they wanted melodic and sexy. Like that.
Do you feel like that helped you, like as a remixer, and then also like as a DJ, to be out there that long and like totally happen to kind of change your whole format and how you do things like here?
Well, it almost makes you like musically bilingual.
Yeah.
I think that's the easiest way to explain it because it's stressful because you are so used to an American style of DJing and you have to like kind of watch the other DJs at first. That's what I really carefully, because they love the way I played, but they also kind of coached me.
Right.
Because the music director, the manager was really picky and he didn't like any DJs. He's just like, you DJs, you're a bunch of pussies. He's from Kosovo. He's an angry man.
Shit, that's why.
yeah.
But gulag.
So shout out to Spenny. He was the music director, and I learned a lot from him because he's from London, and Greg Lee, who was the other resident there. Between those two guys alone, I learned so much from tasteful programming perspective. Also, mic control. I learned my mic control because like
important DJ is important.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
because Spenny was like kind of like a garage MC, and he knew how to build up tracks that were 7 minutes long, and he let those tracks rock. But he'd be on the mic the whole time, rocking the crowd. And I noticed that he would have consistently the thickest dance floors out of anybody. Even when it was like late at night, he'd do third shift, and because he's on the mic, he crushed everybody. It was like everybody just gravitated in, and not just being scattered throughough the club. It'd just be packed on the dance floor.
It really does.
Yeah. How long were you there before you went out there to be the music director?
So I had 4 years under my belt, and then so the first time, so there was 2 different nightclubs that were kind of in tandem. There's Mint, and then M18 opened up, and Choice Cuts retired. He was my manager. He was booking tours for me during that 3-4 year period, so I could go to Vietnam, I go to Hong Kong. He hooked me up with a lot of great guys. Like in Beijing, I go to Beijing for a hip hop night, and then I do an EDM night in Vietnam. I'd be like hopping around. It was insane.
You lived there then?
Yeah. I lived there for 2 full years.
Wow.
With an actual visa to be there, so it was.
That's wild.
Yeah, I was there full time for 2 years, but up until that point, I was going 3 to 4 times a year. So it'd be like 1 month at a time. So a quarter of the year I'd be in Shanghai, and then I'd still do my residencies in Florida.
That's cool.
So it was a lot of flying. I went diamond a couple times on Delta.
No, that's a lot of
I was
time
losing
on
my
a plane
mind.
too. That's deep.
How was it coming back, like from living there for 2 years, then coming back to America, and then all of a sudden playing for like an American crowd?
Well, I can tell you, I'm over it now, but it was extremely depressing. Like depressing. I was part of the reason that I actually quit is because of just health failure. Like it was literally like drinking 4 nights a week, and I came to Vegas for rehab basically, and. And for you, I know it's lightweight for you guys. I know it's lightweight. Like,
I'm just thinking about like coming back to Vegas to rehab, and then Eric and I are looking at each other like.
No, but it was crazy, honestly, because like I like quit my second contract because I was doing year by year contracts, and I remember like I was 9 months in. I'm like, I can't do it again. I cannot endure another year of this because basically you're going like 7 o'clock. You show up to the club. You have eat some sort of dinner at the restaurant that's attached to the club. It's like Tao. It's like, they'll give you an idea. It's essentially like a Tao where there's a restaurant, a lounge, and a club. Right. And so you'd start at the restaurant, work over to the bar and get 2 espresso martinis. And then you proceed to have 8 gin and tonics, 2 bottles of champagne, and maybe a few shots of Jaeger.
Oh my God.
And then you go to the after party. And then there's an after party.
Right.
And you're out until noon. And you can get 6 hours of sleep and do it again.
Yeah.
So my body was failing.
And you were in your 20s then. So
no, I was in my 30s.
Oh, 30s. Oh, yeah.
I was already I already did the damage, and I'm doing more damage. So
Okay.
I was like early mid 30s.
Okay.
So I had to quit. I have to quit. So then obviously the opportunity came up for me to move to Las Vegas and work with Clubkillers full time. So that was the perfect escape hatch. But on the DJing side, I was really fulfilled when it came to remixing and having a great place to work right here in Las Vegas. But as a DJ, I couldn't find work, ironically. I didn't know what to do. Like I didn't know the protocols. I didn't know the flow. And I have this combination of like imposter syndrome and entitlement syndrome at the same time. It was really messed up psychologically because I'm dealing with, hey, I'm DJ Deville, but like everybody knows who I am, but I can't get booked.
Yeah.
Like the DJs know who I am, but the bookers don't know who I am.
So you were still making remixes when you were living in Shanghai, like still
in my
consistently all the time?
bedroom, like I had a little KRK set up with dual screens.
Okay.
My MacBook Pro 17-inch, I was going crazy.
Yeah, that's what I was meant to ask you. You're kind of
I didn't stop. I make 3 edits a week since 2005. That's been my rule.
While DJing, while being a music director, while traveling, while having a social or personal life.
Literally, I carry that on my back. Like I'd say over the years, 95% of the content is the majority me. Like I know there's a lot of editors that work with other editors, and that's totally cool. That's their game plan. For me, I've literally, unless I have a collab on the name, or like I've had a couple people that shoot me ideas and I was like, cool, like I'll put you on it or whatever. But 95% of my content I put over the years is me. So
how do you decide like so when I was the 2 years I was trying to make remixes, right? Like for me it was, this is a hot track, let's just try to get something out, right?
Yeah.
But like you look back at your catalog and your catalog is crazy eclectic, old stuff, new stuff. I mean, EDM, hip hop across the board.
Yeah.
How do you decide like, okay, I know I can make a successful remix out of this? Like what goes into that?
Well, thankfully the background started with everything you just mentioned. I had to go from like country, Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy into like the Usher, Yeah. Then I'd go up to like Blood is Pumping, the Blade Track song, you know, like all back in the day, like all those songs were huge. And I was playing on DVDs when I first started DJing. So I had all these cool remixes and whatever. But being in central Wisconsin, that is a melting pot of taste. So I'm playing Linkin Park, I'm playing Nine Inch Nails, I'm playing Usher, Yeah, I'm playing P.D. Pablo.
Nice.
All in one set. And you got to rotate that. You're sweating the whole way through and figure out how you can interlock these blocks. And it's very similar to a high pressure Vegas nightclub because I would say it's very parallel. And that's why my style was very Vegas friendly.
I think that's why we all kind of gravitated to us for here, because it's exactly what we do play here. It's very melting pot, you know, and it is all over the
especially
board.
in the mid 2000s.
Dynamically.
Yeah, before the EDM bubble, you had to play everything like rock, like get somebody to sing along real quick to Journey, and then you got to figure out how to get back into LMFAO
and not make it sound like a fucking train wreck.
Yeah, dude, I remember the first time that I saw like. I always think about this. First time I saw Hollywood play rock, and he was the first person I had seen where he didn't mix it. They would sing it, and he would slam the next one, and he would sing it, get on the mic, and slam the next one. And it was coming from Reno where I did like Mexican bars and stuff. Right? I'd never seen anyone do that before.
Yeah.
But at 22, I was like, one, you're playing rock, and two, like I'd never heard.
The reaction that you get from
like
it
Bon
too.
Jovi Living on a Prayer was like the loudest thing I had ever heard in my life. Like it was sick.
Well, and honestly, the first time I remember coming from Wisconsin, I was a very linear mixer. Like I like to keep that linear flow, and that's what challenged me so hard to interlock these different genres. First time I heard somebody stop the script was DJ Nova, who's actually coincidentally out here. He was from Orlando as well. Yep. He's one of the first big city DJs, being my little town. I saw him play like Backstreet Boys. In Orlando, that's like default. That's a boy band town. But I didn't realize the impact those songs had, and he would use the power of negative space to stop the show. Or like, for example, that "Show Me Love" remix that came out in like 2007 that everybody played. That just that cold drop on it, that power of him like stopping and dropping it, just erupted the crowd, and that's what changed my brain. And it also changed my editing style too. Yeah. So you notice my edits would change in that time frame.
You said something really interesting. You talk about the struggles, like literally from like 18, up until like your mid 20s, and all these different jobs, and the weddings, and really not a lot of successes, been sticking with it. So you get to a point where you're successful, and you look back and you look at all the struggles that you had, and then look at today. You got these dudes, like I have a friend, he works at EDC. I literally had this conversation with him 2 days ago. He was like, oh man, we're blowing this kid up. This kid made a TikTok. Like he made a song on TikTok and it blew up, and now EDC is like, hey, we're putting money behind this. Live Nation is going to put money behind him, and they're going to blow it up. Yep. And the kid has he knows nothing about DJing, probably knows nothing about music really. Like how does someone like you like view that? Because
I can look at it from the bitter perspective of like, fuck that kid.
You're out there. You're
about that.
But
mark that.
That's a clip. Yeah. But also, you have to look at it from that realistic perspective. I've been doing this for 27 years. How long is that kid going to be doing that? I think he's going to have his little lightning bolt. And if
we continuously talk about
this happens all the time. The faster you burn, the faster you go out.
Exactly.
So unless you've got savvy, and then there's the exceptions that can burn fast and then hold. And that's a rare archetype. So I think that, good for him. Like he's using the tools that are in his tool belt. We didn't have TikTok. I mean, like, for me, all I had, like I didn't have any marketing tools except for MySpace. And I actually had the presence of mind. I can actually look back at my original photo shoots. I got a professional photo shoot. Not really. It was just my friend with a Kodak camera. Actually, that was Adam Ivy. But he's to this day, he has the aesthetics awareness and understanding of what looks good because he was a graphics artist as well. And we actually went out to like a Cadillac dealership and stood in front of cars that weren't ours and just fake it till you make it. We got some fake chains on eBay and just did some cool stuff that like at the time fit the vibe. It was like 04, 05, 06. That's, the big long 40-inch chains were cool and, baggy shirts. And we fit the mold and, we took photo shoots. We were trying. And I look back and they're not even that cringy. We actually look pretty cool relatively to the time.
Yeah.
But we were way ahead of our time compared to what especially was going on in central Wisconsin. But just like understanding marketing, and that kid's using his marketing tools. So good for him. Like the power and speed at which things happen now. That's you got to think about this too. Everything's disposable. So unfortunately, that kid's going to have his ride. If he doesn't have any sense at all, he's not going to be able to capture that lightning in a bottle. So I wish him well, but I will see how long it lasts.
What do you think for kids like that, or the guys that are getting their up and coming chance right now, and say they have that, or it's something viral on TikTok, or what are some things do you think that can add for longevity for a DJ? Like if they get that rise, what would help them have longevity, you think?
Social skills first and foremost, because we were actually just talking about this at the camp spinoff, kind of like skunk works almost. Like we were thinking about topics to teach curriculum to kids that are getting into DJing, and this exact topic came up. Kids that grew up with iPads have no social skills. They don't even know how to talk to people face to face. They don't know how to engage with eyes. It's an actual problem. It sounds like some boomer talk, but it's real. And unfortunately, for most young, like I'd say between 12 and 18, they have no social skills. So the ones that do are going to accelerate and last because they have business skill sets. And the first thing is social ability. So, and then beyond that, just having some sort of IQ for business at all. DJing is third place. I hate to say it, but it really is. Like it's business and social skills. And think about it. That's what we all thrive on Vegas. And I think that any good market has social skills first and foremost, and then DJ skills come after that.
What do you
100%. 100%.
Walk it, then you talk it.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Yeah, I was just thinking back, like walking into
Or
Excess.
talk it, then walk it.
And hearing Diplo like play one of your remixes, and like, dude, I just remember looking over at Alex and just being like, holy shit, dude, like fucking Diplo's playing his song. How does that make you feel, like when you walk into a club and you hear like you're like someone like that playing one of your songs?
I still remember
Shaq playing one of his things. I tell you that video.
That's so cool.
I will note it never gets old, so feel free to keep sending them to me. It boosts up my fragile ego. I remember the first time I ever heard my remix. It was my Rockstar Rock Break. I don't know if you remember that. It was the Brain Stew riff, and I got inspired from AM doing the Brain Stew routine. So I came up with the Brain Stew Party Break, and there was a DJ, I can't remember the name of the club. It was on Orange Street in Orlando. I walk in, there's like 500 people in the club already. I was a paying customer, and I hear it like the first thing, that's mine, oh my god. Sick. And it was actually on DJ City, because like DJ City was actually the first record pool to ever put my edits out publicly. And it was in the hot box. I remember when they had the hot box, and it was that one and my Biggie break, and they both made it in the top 10. So I was kind of popping all of a sudden. I was like, yo, this is crazy, like the internet's real. It really delivers. So, and then I remember the first time I went to a party in Shanghai at a club, the DJ didn't know I was there, and he played my 3X Electro remix that I made like 3 months prior, and he got it off the internet and was playing it 8,000 miles away from where I made it. And he didn't know I was there. I'm enjoying his set with my remix in it. It was surreal.
Dude, that Biggie break, that just makes me, I wore that thing out.
Oh, man.
It was digital, but like if it would have been on vinyl, I would have had to like buy a new one.
Oh, it's crazy. How
many remixes do you think you've made?
I did the math the other day. If you take away the alternate edits, I've got approximately 35,000 hours of chair time on Pro Tools.
Oh my gosh.
To put that in perspective, like just that right there, 35,000 hours sitting in a chair. So then if you do the math, 52 weeks in a year, 3 edits, it's something like exactly 3,000 various original works.
Wow.
Is there any, or like what's your favorite of all those? Which one do you think still like holds time up if it's something that's older or new? Do you have a favorite of any of them that you've done?
Out of all 50,000 edits.
30,000, but is there any that you still like that's your go-to or whatever?
One of my personal artistic favorites is my Red Hot Chili Peppers versus Justin Bieber, Love Yourself versus Under the Bridge. Melodic, and then it goes into Journey all in one track. For artistically and melodically, it's one of my favorite compositions that have slapped together. But my September Epic intro is apparently the most heavily spinned retro record edit I've ever made. My Calabria Twerk remix, that still gets played in heavy rotation. Might get buddies from Vietnam, they text me like this is still at the top of everyone's playlist in Vietnam to this day. So I'm like, I made that in 2013, I think, something like that.
That's cool.
What do you think makes like, from your expertise, right? Like someone that's been obviously, how many hours was it?
35,000 hours.
That's crazy. Like an average mashup to one that is like, oh shit, like you know, in your experience, what do you think that is?
Wait, so I'm not sure. What exactly are you asking?
Like when you hear like an average mashup, and then you hear one that is like, holy fuck, like that is so good. What do you think is the difference? Like if I'm just getting into editing.
Oh, sure.
Right?
I can tell immediately because a lot of people don't realize I do have a degree in audio engineering as well. So I went to Full Sail back in 2002, and I learned traditionally how to engineer music. And that really affected the way I make edits and remixes. I look at it as I'm putting together a full musical composition, even if it is just a mashup. I take the time, I add the reverbs, I add the delays, I add the dynamics, I add everything that's required on a full record into a simple mashup of sorts. So a lot of people have told me sonically they know it's Deville. Like sometimes they have to change the volumes because the Deville edit sounds so much louder and fatter than a regular edit from somewhere else. I'm like, well, yeah, I've used a lot of mastering chains. So that right there is a giveaway. And I think the thing that concerns me the most right now is DIY everything. Because DIY is killing me right now. And I use this analogy that you can drink box wine. It'll get you drunk, but I prefer to collect fine wines and sip on them and use them correctly because, they're both wine. They're both acapellas. But one is from the studio that was ripped from a 2-inch tape from the original Madonna session. And one is some guy doing it on Serato AI or whatever. Yeah. It's cool if you're in your tight spot. But if you can source the original pieces, even if it's from vinyl, I'd much rather have a vinyl rip than some sort of AI rip because it's just like, as we say in the studio, you can't polish a turd.
Yeah. So we're seeing that a lot now, like this tech house remixes. Like there's some that are very well done, and some that it's like it just sounds like a rebeat, it just you're like, oh, it's minimal. But then it gets plays, and that's the thing that trips you out on it. You really look at it, and it's like, and there might be more to it, but it doesn't really look very.
But it's a subconscious effect. That subconscious, ow. Why is like the listener doesn't know why it hurts.
Yeah.
But like, and then you actually can stop dancing because you're like, I don't want to listen to this. I'm going to go to the bar.
Right.
And versus when it's so rich and so full and you get that full spectrum, I'm like, to me, it matters. It really, I am a snob when it comes to collecting sources. Yeah. It's not easy to get them.
But I think people have gotten better though with TikTok. So many mashups, people have developed an ear. Like my wife has. People who aren't DJs or they know what it sounds good. Oh, it sounds like ass. But they, like you said, they don't know what it is.
And you know what's funny? I remember there was this kid that opened for me at Bank, and he used to play these songs. Same thing. Like they were just terrible. And I asked him one time. I'm like, dude, like. You don't know this sounds bad? He's like, no. And I'm like, what are you referencing like when you're listening to this? He's like, I'm just listening to them on my computer speakers.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, one right there, dude, you're just like downloading stuff off this little, no headphones, like nothing. And he's like, no. I'm like, dude, this is why like people are like looking up like, and you can hear like the drop, the beat drops, levels. And it's like, it's like all crazy.
Level changes, Ugh.
Well, I mean, in my studio, I have better monitors in my studio than a lot of clubs have in their club.
Wow.
So I get anxiety when I go to certain clubs and their speakers are blown out and it hurts my ears and I like my ear kind of sensitivity level is really high and I need to have certain things for my environment to DJ because I'm so hypersensitive in the studio.
What about labeling? You done 35,000 hours of remixes, edits. I didn't even know you went a Full Sail.
Yeah.
I think every DJ or most DJs have an edit of yours or a mashup or something in their laptop or sticks. I wanted to talk real quick, just the labeling. Like
the actual metadata?
Yeah.
No, the labeling of what is a remix, what is a mashup, what is unofficial,
how you tag the
what is editing, what is an editor etiquette. Because I feel like I'm not an editor. And I've seen it before where people grab stuff and they'll do this. Or like, the new generation, it's in a remix. Well, did the label approve? I kind of want you to break it down real quick, what everything is and what grinds your gears. Because you remember, like, you come from that world, right? You want it to be right.
I think that we can, give Crooklyn Clan credit for the misuse of tagging because we all were guilty of it back in the day. I mean, I was on Crooklyn Clan.
Okay, I don't know if I'm an editor, so
no, I'm just shouting it out because it's historically relevant.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's their fault specifically. It was just culturally with behind the scenes.
Yeah,
we got out of control. We were using 3 parentheses on tagging.
I remember that.
Like it was a circus show for tagging. So I think the first title that got misused was bootleg.
Yes,
because historically a bootleg was an unauthorized remix work, like in the 90s, like on a piece of wax. So you gave out a white label, and that was a bootleg because you didn't get label clearance for it, but you made a dope remix. It was a remix. And it was fully produced, but it was a bootleg because it never got authorized and it was never distributed by that said label. So as time went on into the Serato era, bootleg just turned into whatever they wanted to be. Bootleg was the most abused. It could have been an edit. Could have just been a mashup. It could have been a mashup with production in it. It didn't matter. It was just a bootleg. And then fast forward to today, the most incorrectly used terminology is edit. Because it's strange to me because big name producers say edit on their distributed work when it's technically a remix, and it's almost like they're self-deprecating and they're saying it's an edit.
They're downplaying themselves.
Yeah, they're almost downplaying.
They're making a remix but calling it an
because
edit.
it's a fire remix. It's a real remix, but they're like, it's just an edit. And it's like, that's weird. So there's like 2 different ways, but everything in between is like, for example, a mashup is simply an instrumental from one song and an acapella from another song put together like peanut butter and jelly. That's it. That's a mashup. And so the way I've been using personally, the way I use bootleg is when it is a produced work, meaning my own drums, my own percussion, my own arrangement, but I use elements from an unrelated song. Let's say I'm doing Glamorous by Fergie, but then I take some like Pete Tong melody or something, right? But I just sample the melody and everything else is mine, like all my own drums, all my own bass lines, everything. I would call that a bootleg because it's produced. And I'm trying to use the spirit of what it meant to be. Like, originally was like, it's a produced work that's unauthorized. And it's not a mashup because it's not just a melody or it's not just an instrumental and a cappella. It's a fully composed work. And that's why I call them bootleg.
You can't name it unofficial remix?
But that's the problem. It gets too wordy because you have to think about you only have like
because I remix this thing
900 pixels on one edge of Serato. You can only fit so many letters. This is where it gets super nerdy and technical. But like when you're thinking about like on a 13-inch MacBook Pro, you can only fit this much space and this much space on this side, and you got the wheels, and that's it. So you got to fit like unofficial remix would run right off the screen. And it's all about packaging because packaging is part of marketing. So as a remix editor, you want people to look at it and go, yo, I want to click on this and listen to it. And that's what I learned being on so many different record pools over the years is how you tag things matters. And that's why, unfortunately, things get abused with terminology.
100%. Yeah. Especially in this new day and age.
I wanted to ask you this for years. So you went to school. You are an amazing mashup artist. You probably have more technical knowledge than 90% of people making music out there. Why did you never make your own music?
Well, I do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. I do have some tracks on Beatport, and I will fault myself on just the freight train that's required for a marketing strategy for a single, right?
Yes.
So like the average person that doesn't make any edits or mashups or anything, you just focus on a song, whether they produced it or not, that's not my business. But they like the person that has their name on the song, especially I'm going to speak more on the EDM side of things.
I think that's where it's at, though.
Yeah.
Because dance, I mean, hip hop world,
40,
Latin world,
that's a different world.
It doesn't
like,
really.
That's a different business.
It applies in dance world for sure.
But the amount of this is to my own fault. My work ethic on making edits has actually faulted my ability to have presence as an artist. Because just the fact you didn't know that I had releases. Dude, I have official releases.
I mean, we talk every week, and I had
and it was under Deville though. It wasn't like an
and unfortunately, there's multiple Devilles out there in the ether. So that's the other thing I have to kind of sort out slowly over time.
Well, it's like you have a dope product, but you got to market it right.
Right, exactly.
Like, you can have a cure for cancer. Well, that's too much. You can have I don't know, like an amazing product, but if people don't know about it, right? Same thing, right?
Well, it's true because like there has to be a whole rollout for anything. If you think about like for example, Diplo with that new Doom Scroll. He took he has a team obviously, but you just think about the responsibilities that are required to release a new product. Any artist, I think somebody like John Summit's really good at that. They kind of shut down their social media and only talk about these things in clever ways. I don't have time for that. I got to DJ. Half the time I've had like some sort of full-time job, either with Clubkillers or just DJing or whatever I had responsibility over the years. And there's only so much that you can do as an individual. And, I would say I'd fault myself on maybe not investing enough in myself and delegating some of these tasks, because I'm a control freak. I like to have control over everything. You can't do that now. And I'm working on a track right now, and I can't take all the credit for it. There's been a lot of people involved in this new track that I'm putting out, hopefully this spring. My hands are fully involved in the project, but there's a lot of talent here. There's songwriting, there's the production, sound modeling, all these things that go into it. I can't take all this on by myself. And now I'm proud to say that I've got multiple people on that team. I used to be like, I got to do it all. But you look at like a Beyonce record. How many people are on the songwriting credits?
Yeah, Mac J said it too.
Beyonce's not sitting down with a pen and a pad.
The whole team behind him.
Yeah. So like I've learned to embrace that part of the culture so you can accomplish more. I mean, I'm in my I'm in the third decade of my career, and I'm just learning this. I guess better late than never. But it is frustrating, to let go of things as a creative. It's one of the hardest lessons you have to learn as a creative.
Yeah.
Do you think because you do a lot of like open format remixes and stuff like that, do you think that hurts you as trying to be an artist in, say, if it was EDM too? Because it seems like, it's always like kind of, it's like if you came from the EDM world and you did hip hop like A-Track or those guys, like it's fucking dope. But if you're in our realm and you try and go to EDM, it's almost like, oh no, like we're fucking.
And not only that, the subgenres,
exactly.
like techno guys only, like I've been learning more of this. Techno people only go to techno. Dubstep is dubstep. You got drum and bass or drum and bass. Like it's also very segregated. I mean, obviously they like each other, but there's also a space for each one. It's crazy. Like a dubstep guy or a house guy rarely will go to a dubstep show.
Right. Well, and that's a really valid point. And that was kind of like the thinking process as I was deciding what to do next, because like right now genres are changing a mile a minute, and I needed to decide to myself, what do I care about as a DJ that I'm excited to play as a DJ? Forget about like the producer side. I'm just does the DJ care? Right. Does the DJ actually want to play this? So I talk to myself as the DJ. Go, okay, well, I love like pumping EDM. High energy. I don't want Afro beats. Deville's never going to be an Afro beat producer, for example, or a deep tech, or even top 40 for that matter. I'm not interested in it. I love ratchet hip hop and I love EDM. Nice. So that's what this record's going to be all about. Because it has ratchet lyrics on it, but it's a pump and peak out record.
That's cool.
So that encompasses what I like as a DJ. So that's really cool. So it's a mashup of ideas to make an original.
So Exile and I were talking about this the other day, about the moment that like Latin music is having, right? But Latin music is in its moment, right? What do you think is the next genre that is gonna explode? And as you're mapping out the next couple of years, what do you think is going to be the one that is kind of percolating right now?
I think I think genres are in trouble in general, all genres, and I've seen this more often in the last few months, commentary with musical bloggers and things like that. And everybody's like, we've made all the music. We've made everything. Because if you think about the genesis of, for example, like the drum, just the drum. When the drum was invented, it created a very ethereal rhythm that people could get down with around a campfire back in the tribal days all around the world, right? And then you think about the genesis of the guitar, the electric guitar. That created rock and roll. Then the genesis of the synthesizer created 80s new wave.
The horn, all
and
these
then
other
the
things.
laptop synthesizer created EDM, right? What's the next instrument? There's no instruments left. Like, so what's I think is going to end up happening is there's going to be this distillation of artists. Right now we're dealing with micro celebrities as DJs. Now we're dealing with micro celebrities as artists.
Do you think that'll last? Sorry to sidetrack. Micro celebrities as DJs. Or you think it'll be the wave of like, again, where Paris Hilton, everybody became a DJ. Remember that celebrity DJ?
Yeah,
Sorry to sidetrack. You think it'll last?
That's actually, that kind of goes hand in hand with the eras, because that era was, everybody knew who Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashian and Lindsay Lohan.
I forgot who else DJ'd.
But they were hyper celebrities on their own. And the DJing kind of just came as a cherry on top. Yeah. Now, these, I would say like the booty models on Instagram, and these like as the gravity starts to kick in, they realize they're almost depending on DJing to stay relevant.
Gotcha.
So now it's like this anchor. Paris Hilton does not need to DJ.
So
she does it because she actually loves
what
it.
I'm trying to go with. Like,
But I'm just trying to explain like the evolution of this. Like, so Paris Hilton loves to DJ. So respect to her.
Respect to Paris Hilton. I'm just talking about the celebrity DJs that happened.
What's happening though is like these newer like I'm not trying to pick on females because there's a lot of like celebrity dudes that do the same thing. I'm not going to name names.
Brody Jenner, DJ.
There's
I'm saying like
there's a few on the billboards out here right now.
DJ.
And I see them DJ and it's rough to watch. And like these dudes, like they have no business being in a DJ booth either because they're celebrities because they're on TV shows.
Gotcha.
TV shows don't hone your skills. Yeah. Like Shaquille O'Neal and Pauly D, they were DJs anyways. They've been doing this, but then there's people that just leverage it because they're I want to be a DJ now to stay relevant. That's what I don't fuck with.
And because the time and place now, it's all about your followers and all that. And I think that's what they're more leaning into. The DJ comes second.
And dude,
if they just want to get bodies in the door, if they know they're going to be fucking horrible,
it's a business too. Like those people are like, hey, I make a TikTok, I'm going to go to the club. But actually, $20,000.
Right.
Great.
This is what I wanted to talk about. So that was kind of like the evolution of the
celebrity. About what is next. But where are we at?
Celebrities are paying clubs to play.
Oh, I've heard this.
Yeah. This is a scary precedent.
That's what I got.
This is scary.
I start paying my next.
Yeah, just actually talking to somebody about this.
I just DJed a birthday party for one of these individuals.
Yeah.
And he bought out a restaurant and he had like 89 of his friends there. And then he goes to the club and paid to be at the club. And he gets to open up for a bigger name, and he's like a recreational DJ.
Yeah.
He's not like in any way interested in being a pro. He just wants to do it when he feels like it. And this is happening not only in Las Vegas, but I spoke to somebody. It's happening in New York.
More before my Latin world.
I'll put that on the record. That's fucking whack.
Yeah, dude.
So this is a scary precedent because
clip that whack.
Whack. It's fucking whack.
Because think about what's going on with nightclubs. They're struggling. Yeah. So when you got a bankroller, trust fund baby, or whoever willing to drop 15, 20, 30K to the club, say, let me come in, and then they bring their trust fund baby fan base with them to buy bottles. On paper, it looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's amazing for their night.
Yeah.
But then you realize that everybody that was there for actual music isn't coming back again. So it's turning into this micro echo chamber of entitlement, and it's going to destroy the super club precedence.
Yeah.
I think it already kind of did.
Yeah.
People are smart. Not smarter, it's the experience. They get to see it on TikTok more and live it and whatever. They're getting over big nightclubs like that because like, bro, why am I coming here to listen to this whack ass shit? I'm gonna go to curate. That's why curated parties are popping. Smaller venues are popping, more intimate, better DJs that have been DJing, like you guys have been DJing longer in our experience. You can take it anywhere. Oh, I got an Afrobeat crowd in front of me, boom. Latin, boom. I want open format, boom. Want to play some pop, boom. I think that's where it's going.
And underground. It's
100%.
going kind of underground.
But see, guys like that, they want to pay to play at places like that. It's like there is no monetary value that can come with seat tying of playing. You have to put the fucking years in. And nowadays, everybody wants shit now. They just want to get it there as fast as they can, and it's like, that just goes to show you, like, money can't buy fucking talent. It can't buy programming. It can't buy any of that. It just has to be years in the game, years and years.
And people
struggling,
aren't dumb.
Well,
you
people
know,
are noticing it
not
now.
dumb,
Like, because
dude.
people go to vinyl bars. They're actually going to vinyl bars to seek out the art form and watching a DJ actually grind it out on real
Sorry,
records.
I just did it in Mexico City. I went with my wife, and she found a bar. She's always looking for bars. And the guy was playing, everything was on vinyl. He had a whole thing. It was everything from 70s and 90s. I was even intrigued. He wasn't mixing. He was doing the old school, like, knob, where it just ends out. But he's doing it all. And I was watching the whole time, and I'm impressed. I come from vinyl, but it's to see that again, and everyone around it, you're right, the aesthetic is there. It really is, dude.
So,
I thought it was. At first, I was like, man, this is niche. Everyone's trying to be cool with records. But no, dude, even me to see it, and I'm a DJ. Imagine a regular person.
It's been gone so long now, you forget the art. There's a real art of it once you do it.
Dude, I tried to do it upstairs.
Where at?
Just up here in the studio. How heavy, like, my hand is. It's just, like, the needle just, like, bouncing around. Like,
I have turntables there, like, but I never use them anymore. But yeah, it's just like, I haven't used turntables in a fucking long time.
People aren't dumb. I think that people aren't dumb.
Well, because it also, to kind of fully answer the question about where genres are going next, I think we are going to kind of revisit the roots of everything that makes us dance in the first place. Because I can't remember who was talking about it on social media, but essentially what it comes down to is let's get back to basics and let's get back to dancing and get away from the business side, and the business will come back. But like everybody needs to figure out why they're having a good time in the first place. Stop worrying about, I need to have $300 in my pocket to buy a round of drinks, like for a couple times over, and then like going out and having a good time should not be a financial burden. That's supposed to be having a good time.
For sure.
Right.
Like I come from when I grew up, you could get drunk for $20 and have a good night. And now it's like you have to think about it. Like, you get out the calculator and figure out how much I can spend a night. It's crazy. So I think the music's going to follow the crowd and how it migrates. Because look what Bad Bunny did with his last album. He got back to his roots. And that's just one artist representing himself.
Yeah, Latinos went back to salsa. Like, I haven't seen salsa in a young crowd in a long time. Like, oh my God, I can do salsa again. The cumbias, because he went to a very traditional sound.
Yeah. I think that's going to happen with Bruno Mars with funk and soul.
Amazing. Yes.
Yeah, so good.
I think that's where it's going. I think that's where it's going.
Yeah, which is
great. Simple of an answer.
So the basics, the essence.
The roots of dance.
Yeah.
Whatever that means. Like, that's why house music came back. Even though now house is being bastardized by just looping samples. So but then there's guys like Chris Lake that are very musical and very talented. So I think they're doing things the right way. There's the top producers that really know musicality. House music in that area will always thrive.
It will.
But like with pop music, there's so many talented pop producers. I think they're all kind of like waiting. Have you noticed that there's not been a lot of like mainstream big hits being released right now? And us as DJs, we're starving for new tracks.
Yes.
And especially editors, we're all starving for new ammo to work with.
Yeah.
But I think everybody's kind of pulling back and going to what do people actually care about? And let's stop making songs for TikTok. Let's make songs.
That's the next wave then.
Yeah. I think musicality and the roots of dance are going to really.
And it's interesting you talk about like Bruno Mars. Like you listen to like his new song, right? Like I think it's great. My kids love it. I love it. I think it's great. It's very got that old school feel, but it's very contemporary too. And I like that. I like that you're taking that old school sound, but it does feel it's not like 70s music, and it's not like 60s music, and it's not like 80s music. It is different, but it doesn't sound like music that's come out for the last couple of years that we all talk about is fucking shit. Like, it's
but think about
terrible.
And he sold out, dude. I didn't think he sold out Legion like this. Like, 2 nights.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of the best performers I've ever seen.
I know, it's amazing. I just didn't think he would sell out like that. Like,
it's crazy.
I didn't think so.
And that's
that
on
means
a tour,
people
bro.
are, you're right,
he's
people
a
are
resident.
appreciating.
He's a resident here already.
And he's appreciating this music now.
Why do you think that, like, so, to go on the flip side, like, hip-hop hasn't had a hit on the Billboard in, 30 weeks?
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah. But
first time in 30 years, right? Something like that. Like,
it
hasn't
horrible.
had
So if you took the top 10 hype hip-hop artists, do you think they could fill out a stadium right now? If you lined up 10 of them on one bill.
Together in one
on one bill.
Allegiant. Oh, shit.
Like, let's who we're talking about, like Da Baby, The Baby, 42 Doug, I mean, I can't even. 21 Savage.
The plug. Like,
NBA Youngboy. Do you think they would actually sell out?
No, fuck no. Well, when they released the Rolling Loud lineup, everybody was like, "Oh man, this is all for like the young generation." And I told in a comment, I got hella likes on it. I was like, "It's because you SoundCloud guys are now becoming big bros and unks. Like now it's a new generation, bro. You guys are getting older." I feel like that when I saw DMX at Rolling Loud. I was like, God, I'm getting the unk, bro. But I don't think they could fill it up. No, I don't. I think hip hop's in a bad place.
They're canceling concerts.
Even if they could get it, just like I feel like the music, like it would be so. It's just.
Do you play NBA Youngboy? Have you ever played anything?
No.
I played one. I played the hook and I'm out of it.
Yeah.
If I.
It just depends on the night. Like some hip hop nights,
because everybody.
I feel like it just doesn't have
energy.
To
your point, it's like in and out. You're just in and out.
Yeah,
it's you're just hitting it to hit it.
Yeah.
The 2016 wave is huge right now. You heard about it, right?
Yeah,
on TikTok everywhere.
Yeah.
2016.
Oh,
the Fetty
my kids.
It's coming back.
The Fetty Wap. They were singing it the other day, and I was like,
Fetty Wap.
You're singing Fetty Wap. They're like, yeah, this new stuff is so hot, and I was like, that's not new.
It's crazy, right?
It's crazy.
I know. It's crazy.
The 16s and like right when I would say, like, I feel like the era of like right when Future blew up was one of the last hook friendly eras like Rick Ross, that early trap era with hooks. Because like that, it's so crazy.
That was fun.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
it was so
like
much energy.
One Oak and Jet and all that.
So much energy
on a Tuesday.
Yeah,
we used to rip
the thing about from an editor's perspective, I can make a house edit every day I'm hustling. I can make a Jersey Club version every day I'm hustling. I can make a regular mashup of anything that from that era because there was hooks to follow. Now, like everybody sounds like these guys literally sound like Sesame Street characters with their crazy voices, and like there's no linear flow, and they're just being too lyrical or
and the
lack
production
thereof.
is terrible. I mean, it's just not. It's not the same.
Yeah,
like you look at like Timberland and you know, Cliff, like all Pharrell, all these dudes that were just killing it back in the day.
Yeah,
and then you look at like the production now, and it's just dudes on Fruity Loops just making beats on YouTube.
Think about what's going to happen in 10 more years. They're not going to have reunion tours for these guys.
Yeah,
because they like
100%.
Does anybody care about Little Xan? Like straight up, like seriously, he's already in the valley.
Yeah, I told you the SoundCloud rappers are now becoming
they're fading. Like half of them are dead.
Yeah,
I'm not even joking. It's sad, but it's true. And then you got Trippie Redd. I think he's the last guy left from that era that's still doing anything.
You got a couple guys, but Uzi Vert's SoundCloud rapper.
Actually kind of cool.
That's true. Yeah. Uzi Vert's figured out how to survive, but he has a great management team, from what I can tell. Like he's actually really got more superstardom. I think he's the superstar of that wave.
Who, Trippie Redd?
No, Trippie Redd's kind of in there.
I would say Playboy Cardi is, and that's Uzi. But Playboy Cardi sells
Lil
out.
Uzi Vert, but that's the thing. But like Playboy, I can't name one Playboy Cardi song. So he's a crazy presence.
Yeah,
he has a celebrity status that people have a hyper attraction to.
It's like
as long as you care.
Following. Like the kids in my office, dude, they love him.
But like, if you don't care about him, you have no idea anything about him.
Yeah,
So that's because he has no mainstream appeal. Even when he went on those streaming platforms, which are super relevant right now, he kind of clowned on, I think it was Aiden Ross. He clowned on him and took $1 million from him.
He showed up for 10 seconds just for clout to like so all the viewers can get it there. And he left.
And he zipped out. So what does that do to make me, as a non-Playboy Cardi fan, make me want to start following him?
Because they love it. It's ignorance, bro. They love that like troll shit. If you go to academics and all these new hip hop pages, trolling is in.
Yeah.
Like it's just like just talking shit.
But in a way, is that creating the connection? Because like to me, it's just too negative.
Yeah, like, he's chopped, he's washed, this and that. Like status, big bro. We don't need this. Like it's really negative. You look at it. But real quick, to piggyback off like hits. The reason I went to Mexico City was to see Kanye West. Now, I didn't think, well, first of all, I didn't think it was going to sell out. I didn't know anybody was going to know the hooks or the lyrics. And it just shows that, like you said, and all the hits he did were all from 2005 or College Dropout to he did all the way up to like his 2018 stuff. Yeah. And they knew it all, bro. And I was like, man, good music's still alive. In Mexico City, bro, they're all Mexican. Like, it's not their first language. And it sold out. The merch sold. Some merch was wild, by the way. I told my wife, this is crazy. They're singing all this shit. Like, and they call him Ye now. They don't call him because that's his new name. Yeah,
this is Ye.
I'm like, they really follow him. And Northwest came out. I was like, I don't follow his personal life. I'm a big Kanye fan. They were going crazy for her. I'm like, this is crazy. But it just shows you that back to good music, like you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was made and bro.
I mean, but I'm just really worried about like anything post-COVID because everything seems like it's been disposable since COVID. And I'm just wondering what's going to happen because there's all these cool recycle factors over and over, and it's just not. I don't think it's going to happen for some of these artists.
Do you think since COVID nothing's like stuck in a way?
Not the way Holla Back Girl did.
Yeah, never. You know
what I mean? Or
Usher, bro.
Like
even like the party rock anthems and all this stuff. Like these songs, there is a pedestal of time that is infinitely recyclable. And I'm speaking as a DJ Deville, the editor, and there will come a time where there's gonna be a dead end. Like I'm finding less and less songs I want to recycle.
Right now, you're saying
that list gets smaller and smaller every year.
Yeah, and
all of a sudden I'm gonna not have anything because it's so disposable. It didn't even have any staying power as the original. How am I gonna make a remix of it?
Right.
So I'm a little concerned.
That's a little sad.
Yeah.
So DJing for 27 years, you played all over the world, and you had to move back to Vegas for rehab. I gotta know what was
rehab. I love that.
What was the craziest thing that's ever happened to you at a gig?
Ever?
Yeah.
Or just top.
Oh my
story.
God. Well, I guess the first one that just comes to mind. I don't know if it's the craziest, but like the first one that like when I would talk about that Taiwan trip, the first trip when I went from Shanghai to Taiwan, I was like 10 minutes into my set, and the DJ booth, it was at Taipei 101. and the DJ booth it's a super skinny rectangle, and they put the girls right in front of the DJ, and then there's the dance floor, right? And I'm literally just getting going. I'm maybe 15 minutes. I'm finally getting my stride in. The girl loses her balance and closes my laptop. It's shut down. Mortified, bro. It was mortified.
The 30 seconds feel like 10 hours.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely at least 30 seconds. Because this is back with Serato Scratch Live. It took longer to boot up.
Is this one of your first times there?
I can just picture it.
Oh my god!
What about you guys? What is
Wait, was it? Were you just there? Like, was it? I'm sorry. Was it your first time there? Or like one of your
it was my first time in Asia.
So that's even more pressure. Yeah. Oh, well, there goes this DJ fucking up already, but they don't know any better. Oh,
and literally, I'm just like standing there, like, okay, all right.
And you just open it back up.
I guess on a positive note,
dude, that was like a minute. That's like
it was
3-4
traumatizing.
minutes.
It took a minute, like, cause everybody's just staring at me. But thankfully, the lights were going crazy, and it kind of just whatever. We figured it out. But on a positive side, I think one of the craziest good things that ever happened to me was I was in China, and my buddy, he was super rich, and he was friends with the club manager. He ordered me 30 bottles of Moet to the dance floor for me.
Sick.
And I just ended up having a squirt gun fight with everybody in the club.
That's dope.
That's sick.
What club is this? What club is this?
That was at Mint. Oh,
wow.
It was like a bathtub of champagne. It took like 2 or 3 guys to carry it up there, full of ice, put it down. It was just like, Moet Imperial. And I was just handing it to people. We were having squirt gun fights. It was so cool.
That's awesome.
Fun.
Yeah. Well, dude, I can't even thank you so much for.
I mean, we could literally go on forever.
Dude,
right now.
We could talk
we're all
about
adults
this.
and we have schedules, but
this was so fun. This was super fun.
We honestly, the cool part about all this, guys, is we're going to rotate everybody in. So this, not only are we going to have guests, but we're also going to get to know each other better. So I think you'll all enjoy that, because what this really is about is understanding culture from each one of our perspectives, so you'll have a better perspective in general. So
and everybody has a Deville edit mashup.
And that's just crazy to me, man.
Crates. I don't care what they say.
As long as I've been doing this, it doesn't get old. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Like, if you play a Deville edit, that means you think my shit's hot, and that's all I care.
It's hot,
thank you for that.
Sure.
Deville, baby. Cheers.
Salute. Clubkillers Podcast, baby. Shout out to producer Kelly.
Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Hey, yo. The world famous Clubkillers crew. You know how we do.